All right, welcome everybody to our first ever virtual Seawolf Preview Day. I want to thank you all for coming out and for your time. I will be one of your hosts today. My name is John Massey. I'm a second-year political science major, economics and history minor. I work on campus as a tour guide, which is why I'm here giving you my time today. So we're going to be doing a little Q&A. If you have any questions about our experience, just go ahead and drop it in the chat box, and we'll do our best to answer. Our supervisor, Melanie Cooper, is also in this Zoom meeting, and she'll be kind of moderating the chat. And so if there are any questions that we can't answer, or if there's just a lot of questions, she'll be able to help out there as well.
Hi everyone, I am the other student here. My name is Krista and I'm currently a senior. I'm about to graduate in a few weeks, which is really exciting. I majored in Hutchins School of Liberal Studies with a minor in early childhood education. So once I graduate, I'm going to go on to get my multiple subject credential and master's degree as well. So that's a little bit about me.
So with that being said, if y'all have any questions, what clubs? We got one already. Perfect. So Justin, asked us, what clubs have you partaked in, and how was your experience? So I'll let you start that off, Krista.
Okay, perfect. Like John, I am also a campus tour guide. That's not necessarily a club, but that is kind of like involvement on campus. I was also, or am really involved in Greek life. I'm in a sorority on campus. And so that's definitely given me a lot of leadership opportunities during my time at Sonoma State. And I've gotten to attend a lot of conferences and leadership workshops. So I feel like through that, my leadership skills have really grown and kind of prepared me for my next step, which is going to be graduate school.
So I'm involved in several clubs. Last year, I was on an intramural basketball team. So we do have intramural sports at Sonoma State, basketball, volleyball, indoor soccer. We have flag football as well, I believe. And so I was on a basketball team last year. I was part of the economics club as well as the music making club, where we make different kind of music. Some people are into shooting music videos. We have over 200 clubs and organizations on campus. Yeah, so we can go ahead and move to the next question.
The next question is, does it help to have a car or does it not make that much of a difference for freshmen? So I'll kind of give a little bit of my personal experience. My freshman year, I did not bring a car and I was able to get around just fine. We do have Sonoma State students get free rides on the bus that goes around Rohnert Park. So I took that my freshman year if I wanted to get places. And then the rest of the years I did have a car. So it is helpful, but it's not necessary.
I would agree with that. I don't think I need to add too much more to that, but there was a follow-up question about your experience in Hutchins, or like, what did you enjoy most about Hutchins?
Oh, perfect. One of the things that I like the most about Hutchins is how small our class sizes are. We have class sizes of 15 people and one professor, which is even smaller than the average class size at SSU. The average class size is usually around 25 to 30 students, so that's still pretty small for a state university. So that was one of the things that I liked the most because it really allowed me to get that kind of one-on-one time with my peers and my professors and really build those relationships and connections. And the second thing that I really like about Hutchins is how kind of like student-led the curriculum is. If professors notice that students are really interested in a specific subject or topic, we'll kind of dive deeper into that. And the professors really follow the students' lead in that regard.
All right, so our next question is, what kind of activities are there to do in Sonoma? Are there things to do? So Krista, if you want to talk about what you like to do, and then I'll kind of chime in afterwards.
Yeah, so we're lucky in that Sonoma State is in a really beautiful area that's kind of central to a lot of locations. So we're about 45 minutes away from San Francisco, we're about half hour away from the beach, And then in Sonoma County, there's tons of like hiking and lakes. So that's one of my favorite things to do on like a beautiful weekend. If I don't have homework or something, I'll get out there and kind of explore the beautiful area that we're in. We're also really close to Santa Rosa and Petaluma, which both have like shopping centers and lots of cute boutiques and places to eat. So that's a fun thing to go that I like to do.
I believe the experience is what you make it. So there can be something anywhere as long as you look hard enough. Moving on to the next question, what is the community and atmosphere like at SSU? I personally like to define it as you have the opportunity of a larger school with the dynamic of a big school. So our student population is around 9,000. So on any given day, you could walk around and see so many familiar faces with people you know by first name on a first name basis, but you could also see people you've literally never seen your whole life. Um, so the connections and options are really endless. I think we have a really welcoming environment and everybody kind of has a place here on campus. And if not, they're able to make one for themselves.
Mhm. Yeah, I would definitely agree with John on that. It's one of the reasons that I decided to go to Sonoma State was for the size. So I wanted to be able to walk around and see familiar faces, but not feel like I was seeing the same people all the time. So I really like that kind of aspect. And like John said, there's a place for everyone with all of our different clubs and organizations and other leadership opportunities that we have on campus.
The next question is, what has my experience been in the political science program? Do I feel it's prepared me and has been easy to get internships? So first off, I think getting an internship is something that a lot of students are able to do at Sonoma State because of our small class sizes. It allows students to build good relationships with professors. And then their professors most likely will know someone or direct them in a direction where they can get an internship. I'm not going to get one because after I get my undergrad degree, I'm actually going to go to Stanislaus State and get my credential program in teaching. So I'm not really going to get an internship. But as far as preparing me, I really like all the professors in the political science program, and I think they're very helpful.
The next question was, would you recommend rushing in the fall? Yeah, so we do have primary recruitment in the fall. It's usually sometime in September. I would definitely recommend it, even if you're like on the fence about whether or not you want to join Greek life. Going through recruitment is a great way to decide whether or not you want to join. You get to meet a lot of different women in the sororities, and you also meet tons of girls who are going through trying to find which sorority is going to be the best fit for them. So I would say definitely give it a shot, and you never know where you might end up. When I went through, I honestly had no idea about Greek life, and it was one of the best decisions that I made because it kind of showed me what Greek life was, and I was like, okay, yes, I want to be a part of this.
The next question is, what is your favorite aspect about Sonoma? I would say the community, as I mentioned earlier, opportunity of a large school, dynamic of a small school. I think being able to see so many people that you're familiar with is like, to me, really comforting. I come from a small town of around 6 or 7,000. So Sonoma State's population is actually bigger than my whole town. So when I was choosing university, I definitely wanted that same kind of like environment, and Sonoma State has definitely provided that for me.
Yeah, I would kind of go along the same lines as John. My favorite thing about Sonoma State is that because of its size, I have gotten so many opportunities to be leaders and or to be a leader in different organizations, which is something that I really value and was really hoping to be a part of in college. I didn't want to go to this huge university where I felt like a little tiny just like number, you know? And so at Sonoma State, I feel like I've really been able to make personal connections, and I have those personal connections with staff on campus and different professors that I've had. The next question is, as a music major, should I get an iPad to do digital note taking? Um, that would probably be something I would reach out to the music department about, just because I'm not a part of it, so I don't want to give you the wrong answer. But you can find all their information online.
Just more generally, though, it's mostly just preference based. I took a music course last fall, and I didn't really need digital note taking, but I'm also one that doesn't like digital note taking. So if you do, sure. If not, save your money. Don't worry about it. The next question is, what is traffic like if you commute to Sonoma State? What are peak traffic times? So probably in the mornings between like 5 and 9, where you get that commuter traffic overall, as well as in the evenings, probably between like 4 and 8, 4 and 7. I don't commute, I live on campus, so I can't really answer that question.
Yeah, we are in the Bay Area, so there is traffic around like rush hour times, but I'm from like the LA area, so the traffic isn't that bad compared to that. The next question is, would you recommend getting a bike? So our campus is pretty small and it's very flat, so you don't necessarily need a bike to get around campus. You can pretty much walk from one end to the other in about 10 to 15 minutes. But our campus, like I said, it is very flat, so it's really easy to ride a bike around if you wanted to do that. I've had friends who do bring their bikes and they like to ride around campus or around Rohnert Park, which is the city that Sonoma State is in. So it's kind of just up to you. It's not necessary, but if you want to, you're more than welcome.
Also, there's plenty of bike racks, like outside the residential buildings. So if you're worried about a place to park it, you have access. The next question, is there any sort of dance performing team? Yeah, so we do have a dance team here on campus. They're called the Sapphires, and they have tryouts every year. They have an Instagram page. You should just look up SSU Sapphires, SAPHIRES maybe. I don't know how to spell it. But if you look it up on Instagram, they'll have more information, and they might even have information about like tryouts and such. So yeah.
The next question is, are there any LGBTQ plus organizations on campus? Yes, we have this awesome resource called The Hub, which is home to many different organizations, including our QSA, which stands for the Queer Straight Alliance. And that is a resource for LGBTQ plus students. And there are other like leadership opportunities within that organization as well. I don't know if John, you wanted to add to that.
We also have Unity housing on campus. So you can choose, if you choose to live in Unity housing, it's a more gender inclusive environment, designated but not limited to our LGBTQ plus folks. So basically this just gives them a more comfortable environment if they choose to live.
The next question is, how involved do you need to be with a sorority? Joining a sorority is really what you make of it. We say what you put in is what you get out. So the more you're willing to put in, and this kind of goes for any organization that you're going to be a part of, right? However much you're willing to put in is what you're going to get out. So for me, I wanted to be a part of leadership. So I, spent time getting to know kind of like the other girls in the organization, and then eventually taking on leadership roles. So that's kind of what my involvement was like, but there are some sisters who just like to go to our sisterhood events, and that's sort of their involvement. So it's really up to you. The next question is, for Greek life, rushing happens in the fall, right? What was your experience with it? Yeah, so our recruitment is in the fall, and it's normally around September. I know some schools do it in the spring, but we still do it in the fall. My experience with recruitment, I'm assuming that's what it was, or what the question was asking, what was my experience with recruitment. It was great. I loved recruitment. I actually ended up going on to be the recruitment VP for my sorority. So safe to say I absolutely loved going through recruitment and getting to know a bunch of other people and different organizations too. That's one of the great things that it has to offer, is it really kind of forces you to put yourself out there and get to know lots of other people.
The next question is, what are some tips and advice for transfer students in their first semester? Get to know your transfer building if you live on campus. That's so huge. I have actually a lot of friends that are transfers, and that was like one of the main places they built most of their relationships their first semester, because everyone in there are also transfer students, so they don't really know anyone else either. So put yourself out there. Don't be afraid. If you don't know anything, ask somebody for help. Everyone on campus is super nice and really eager to make sure everybody knows what they're doing. So yeah, don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
And going along with that, I would say definitely get involved. That will definitely help you meet a lot of other people who aren't just transfer students as well. Just putting yourself out there to get involved. How easy or difficult is the process of signing up for classes? So registration, luckily I have had positive experiences for all my registrations. That's been my experience. You get a designated time depending on how many units you have. And so at that time is when you can register for classes. And I have always gone to my advisor before my registration to make sure like these are the classes I should be taking. And my advisor helps me make sure that I'm staying on track to graduate in 4 years. And then they also give me a few backup options if I don't get my first choice. So sometimes you might not always get your first choice, but there are always going to be other options for you to fulfill those requirements that you need in order to graduate.
Next question, what is SSU's biggest sports team? I would say our baseball teams, all of them, if that makes sense. Our volleyball team has won, our club volleyball team has won back-to-back, I think, national championships. But it's our club team, not our actual volleyball team. Krista, do you have anything you want to add to that?
As far as like students like going out and showing their spirit and support for sports teams, I would say in the wintertime it's definitely basketball, and in the springtime it is baseball, and lacrosse I feel like is kind of on the up and coming. Lots of people like to go out to those games, but my freshman year I really liked to go to the basketball games, and in the wintertime we have this really fun event called Pack the Den, which is kind of like a spirit rally. Oh no, I'm thinking of Midnight Madness. But there's Pack the Den, which is like a big spirit rally, and then Midnight Madness, which is also like a spirit rally. So there's lots of fun events around kind of like the basketball team and going out and supporting them. The next question is, how is on-campus housing? Our on-campus housing is absolutely incredible. I lived on campus for 2 years, and John has also lived on campus for 2 years, I believe. And yeah, our housing is all apartment and suite style living. So we don't have any traditional dorm halls where it's just like this huge like building filled with a ton of different dorms. We actually don't have any dorms on campus. It's all apartments in suite style. So there's lots of different options depending on how many people you want to live with, and if you're a freshman or upperclassman. But for the most part, your room will be with one, maybe 2 other people, and you'll be sharing you'll either have your own bathroom or you'll be sharing a bathroom with a few other people. But our on-campus housing is super, super nice.
Next question, how can I join the basketball team? Put your highlights up on Huddle. You can probably try to talk to one of the coaches, see if you can try out. Other than that, I don't really know. Would you say that SSU is a diverse community? As mentioned earlier, I think that SSU is a very welcoming place. Everybody has their own spot on campus. Again, those that don't have a spot, you can easily create your own club, you and 3 friends. You could definitely find people out there that are just like you, going through similar things that you are, similar interests, hobbies, things like that.
How does signing up for classes work? So we kind of talked about this, but you'll receive like a registration time, and through your SSU portal, you will be able to put like register for your classes through your portal at your designated time. So that's kind of how that works. And then most of the time, it's a good idea to meet with your advisor beforehand to make sure, like I said earlier, that you're staying on track to graduate in 4 years and that you're taking the correct classes to fulfill the correct requirements.
The next question is, do either of you have experience with the RA program, and what's that like? So I can kind of speak to this. I have a good friend of mine that's a RA. It's a lot of work cut out for you, but there are a lot of benefits and a lot of incentives to want to give your all to it. So RAs get their housing paid for, they get a meal plan, and they also get what's called dining dollars. And so you can use these dining dollars in addition to your meal plan at different venues across campus. And so the RA program, I would say it's pretty tight knit. They're on campus total, there's only around less than 60 RAs. So all the RAs get to know each other pretty well. And my friend really enjoyed it. He's going to be an RA again next year. Hope that was a good answer to your question.
The next question is, did either of you study abroad or know someone who did, and how was that experience? Yes, a bunch of my friends did choose to study abroad. At Sonoma State, we have a few different options. If you want to study abroad, we have our international program, so you can go to places like Spain, Italy, Australia, Paris, and you can go for a semester or a year long starting your sophomore year. And the great thing about our study abroad program is that you might be studying abroad in Spain, but you're still only going to be paying Sonoma State tuition. Of course, your cost of living is going to vary depending on where you go. Some places it might be cheaper than others, but all my friends who studied abroad said it was an absolutely incredible experience. And all of our study abroad programs are with other CSU. So you're going to be going with students from other Cal States, which is a pretty cool like networking opportunity. And then we also have a program within the United States where you can go study at another university in the United States and still be paying Sonoma State tuition as well.
Next question, how are the mental health services? So we have a program called CAPS. It stands for Counseling and Psychological Services. So they handle any extra help that you need. If you're going through a tough time on campus, need some people to talk to, need additional assistance, you can pop into CAPS. They give 10 free sessions per semester. And if extra assistance is needed, they might refer you to someone in the area. And they also offer support groups for different types of, trauma, whether it's, if like a sexual abuse occurred or, really anything else. If you're homesick, they have support groups really to just aid students and make sure that they're able to continue on and be successful their time here at Sonoma State.
The next question is, how do you get a campus job? So we have a resource on campus called Career Services, and they will help you find open jobs on campus and within Rohnert Park as well in Sonoma County. And the great thing about them is that they are a resource for life. So once you graduate, you can still go there and they'll help you find jobs within the area. And so that is sort of how I found our campus job. Also, if you are curious about if a certain place on campus is hiring, just pop in and see if they're hiring. You never know, but Career Services would definitely be the first place to go to.
Next question, can you talk about dorm life, facilities, food, communities? So we have different dining venues around campus. There's one called Charlie Brown's Cafe. They have a smoothie robot there that they just got this last semester. They also have the best breakfast burritos in the world. Don't tell my mom that. Good thing she's not here. She can't hear me. We have a place called the Wine Spectator or Stomping Grounds, which is in our Wine Spectator building. And so they have coffee, smoothies, kind of just like another cafe on campus. We have a place called Toast. They have snacks. And they also sell Scantrons there, and that is close to some of our academic buildings. So if you didn't pick up a Scantron before an exam, you could pop in there, get it there. We have Lobos. That's kind of like our pub style dining on campus. All those comfort foods we know we shouldn't be eating, like nachos, mozzarella sticks, pizza, all that stuff. You can get at Lobos. They do serve alcoholic beverages to people of age. So if you don't have that 21 ID, guess what? You are not getting alcohol. We also have W&B, which stands for Wayden and Brewster's. So that's like your quick grab-and-go lunch food. They change what they serve every week. They're most known for their burrito bar, sandwich bar, pasta bar. And I believe they started serving like, I can't even think about it right now. Krista, if you have something you want to chime in, like, feel free. I forgot, I blanked.
You're doing great.
Yeah, so that's the food. In terms of facilities, our rec center is super, super nice. It's one of our most sustainable buildings on campus. There's no AC or heat in the entire unit. We have a track, 14 laps around that track is a mile. We have a gym where students can lift weights. There's plenty of ellipticals in there. We have a giant rock wall, pool tables, table tennis, and all that equipment is in there. If you need a basketball and you're trying to go play basketball, they have all of that in there, and it's free for students to use. You just come, give them your ID card, they'll swipe you in, and yeah, and they're open 7 days a week, usually around 7, 8 a.m. to around 10 or 11 p.m. at night. The hours vary.
And then also to add on to that, our rec center does offer different exercise classes like yoga, Zumba, spin classes, and they're all free for students, they're really fun. The next question is, do you know anyone in the creative writing major, and what is it like? John, do you know anyone in creative writing?
Yes, but I feel like I don't get enough time to talk about them because they're always creative writing. That was just a cheesy joke. It's okay if you didn't laugh. But yeah, the creative writing major, excuse me. I know a lot of people in it, but I don't know a lot about it. So you can go onto their website and they should have contact information. I would highly recommend reaching out if you're interested. Um,
The next question is, I'm a dance student transferring in as a junior. What is the homework load I can expect? So typically what you can expect for homework is however many units you're enrolled in, that's how many hours outside of class you'll be spending. So for example, my senior seminar capstone course is 4 units, so it's expected that I will be spending 4 hours outside of class time working on projects for that class. So that's typically how it goes. Of course, some classes are going to vary a little bit. Some classes have a lot more in-person requirements than outside of class requirements, so it really just depends, but in general, that's the expectation.
the next question is, what is campus life like for older non-traditional students? I don't know that I can answer this question. I don't know if I'm qualified to answer this question. Krista, do you have anything you would like to say?
To be honest, I'm not sure. I haven't met that many older slash non-traditional students. There are some who are in my program who I've met, and they have families and stuff at home. But other than that, I'm not sure what campus life is like for them.
I do have some people in my like political science classes, and they commute from like Vallejo, one from like Marin, like twice a week. So they come to campus only 2 days out of the 5 where students are normally on campus. So I think sometimes it may be hard for them to know where all the resources available to them and like where things are located. So if that was kind of what you're asking about, I would say just make sure you ask people, because people are there to help you, and there are resources available for a lot of things to help you out. The next question, what are the most popular clubs on campus? Aside from Greek life makes around 25% of our school population, but some other clubs that are popular, JUMP, which is an acronym standing for Join Us Making Progress. So they're a community service program. They go around the community and pick up trash. They might plant trees. So yeah, there's different ways to get involved there. Krista, do you have any other clubs you want to talk about?
Like John said earlier, there are over 200 different clubs. Some of our biggest clubs off the top of my head would be like our snow club, our rowing club, our Disney club. I've even heard of like the tea club. And then we have more academic clubs as well, like business club, the different things that you can find. Low on time. When did the lockdown hit? Did the dorms actually close? Did most our campus, I believe, move out and receive a partial refund. So I think some students are still on campus, and then some students did move off back with their families.
Yes, sorry, my screen froze because my Wi-Fi is unstable. However, the dorms stayed open. Students are allowed to stay in there after everyone kind of filled out, went back and got their stuff. They were able to get a refund. They were able to get a refund on housing for May, as well as meal plan if they had one, and parking pass refunds as well. And then they moved all the remaining students that were on campus into like one designated building. That way, the RAs who were also still on campus could either choose to move into those new buildings to work there, or they could go back home with their families as well.
And our boss just informed us that all of the students who were living on campus have moved out now.
So that looks like that will be all the time we have for today. I want to thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate the patience in this very weird time. Yeah, Krista, do you have anything else to say? I hope to see you all in fall.
Yes. Thank you all so much for attending. I know everything is a little uncertain right now, but Our campus is always here to support you in whatever questions you may have. So if you have any questions about admissions or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to someone on campus. Bye.
Take care, stay safe, goodbye.